You rolling?
Yeah.
All right. Watching as the palm trees sway on this lazy island day, it reminds me I'm alive, and each breath I have inside is a gift to realize. Falling in and out of sleep, dreams visit me to tease. Another time, another place, but somehow I'm still the same, and this life is moving on. Life is like holy rest. Every day is like a makeup test. And the more that you will hurt is the more that you will learn. In this life is moving on. Missed that.
It's all right.
Rawness. Running so fast I disappear. I feel like I've been beaten by my own fear, and I know it ain't right, and it makes me feel worse. Oh, I ride the wave in endless peace, ride the wave, ride the wave, it rescues me. I knew how to steer. Right. But it seems this old dream ain't as lucid as it used to be. No, yes. Ride the wave, endless peace. Ride the wave, ride the wave that rescues me. You know I ride the wave. You know I ride the wave. Yeah, they say good things don't last. Man, they say this too shall pass. Oh, they say you gotta take the bad with the good. I said I would if I could, but if you could feel how I feel, you would know it's not so easy now. I ride the wave, an endless peace. Ride the wave, ride the wave, it rescues me. Ride the wave, ride the wave in all its peace. Ride the wave, ride the wave, it rescues me. Oh, yeah. You know I ride the wave. Oh, yeah. You know I ride the wave. Oh, you know I ride the wave.
That was awesome, Tavana. Thank you so much for coming down this morning.
Thanks for having me, Andrew. It's good to be back here.
Yeah. Oh man. So the last time we recorded Tavana was at our second Sundays at Salt. I think maybe January
Yeah, wow.
and of 2019.
Exactly. Over
Yeah.
a year. Yeah.
But I want you guys to try to make a note to go look at, you know what, I'll put a link on this video to his version of Hawaii 78 that we recorded him performing there. It's a good example. But he did White Sandy Beach also, super unique renditions of those classics, and so powerful. And this setup is a little bit different than what you performed with at the second Sundays.
Exactly.
So do you still perform with the roll-in pedals and all that?
Yeah, right now I'm using it on a series we started with Cooking Hawaiian Style every Thursday. It's a live stream called Music 6 Feet Away. And we have guests on there. You know, we've had Mike Love and Paula Fuga and Kimi A. Minor and a lot of good guests. And so I use that rig there. And but I have recently taken it out of circulation I want to redo it. It's getting kind of ratted, tattered and worn. So I'm gonna do version 2 soon. So I've kind of resurrected the old rig, which is the kick drum and tambourine, just really stripped down. And I've actually really been digging it, just a different dynamic. And and it's just kind of, yeah, just kind
It's
of
acoustic.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
acoustic, exactly.
You could busk on the street like that.
Right, and it's just real instruments too. You know, there's a magic to that. So, yeah, I think when I go on tour, initially I might just bring this out, and then while I work on that, the other one to reinvent it.
So, you were telling me you just finished an album.
Yes, we are done. Well, we're doing the finishing touches on it, but we are hoping to get it out sometime in the summer, maybe late summer. Yeah.
Nice. What was it like recording that one?
That one was cool. I got to work with a guy named Ian Sheridan, who was the bass player for Jason Mraz for like 15 years. He was with Jason.
Oh, wow.
When Jason, even before, like in coffee shops when Jason wasn't known, he came up with Jason in the band, and after that he ended up working with Steve Lillywhite and a lot of great producers, working in that sort of scene, and so we started working together. He started playing bass in a new trio I kind of started up called Tavana Electric, where I was able to play electric and had like a kind of a blues trio sound. And so while we were doing that, he was like, hey man, I'd love to record you, and
Who's playing drums?
Mark Lindbergh's playing drums.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So, really awesome duo,
Yeah.
backline is just like super solid. Mark's great. He's really good at like, just being solid, being right on, and not overplaying, not underplaying,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So throughout that, Ian wanted to do that, and I said, well, sure, let's try it. And what we did was, he kind of relocated here in Hawaii, and he didn't have like a full studio, so we kind of bounced around and used my house and the Musicians Union building. We recorded drums in this huge room in the Musicians Union building, and we used like I don't know, like 15 mics all around the room, and we got this huge drum sound. We were so stoked about that. We just went in just 2 days and we got all the drums done. And so this album was kind of me getting back out there in a way where I had an actual band on the album. Last couple albums have been more of the one-man thing, with a little bit of production, but this one is more full production, full band. We got keys by Ethan Capone, and yeah, bass is Ian, and he's also producing the album. Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be killer. So you have a release date?
We don't have a release date yet. We're working on that in the next little bit, and we're going to announce very shortly. And we're probably going to release it in 2 halves. We're going to do a volume 1 and 2. And we actually I'm really excited because we got a bunch of exciting featured artists on it. I got Ron Artis.
Oh, yeah.
Is going to be on it. Mike Love's going to be on it. Caleb from The Green, the lead singer of The Green, is going to be on it. And Paul Isaac. So I'm, stoked.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be epic.
Yeah, pretty exciting. Working on music videos and all that stuff for it.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Man, I'm excited for you. It's like from years back, I always thought that you were just amazingly gifted and, songwriter too, beyond, just being an awesome singer, player and all that. So I think I think it's going to break through where you've been busy for most of your adult life gigging, so it's not like, you haven't broken through over here, but I can't wait till even more people learn about you, because I just love your sound. I love the vibe. You play so many different styles and instruments, but it's still uniquely the Tavana sound, and everything from ukulele to banjo to lap steel, guitar, acoustic and electric and all that stuff. So, doing the drumming yourself, it's pretty amazing. And one of the reasons why I asked you to come up today was because I've been watching your videos on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
What's your YouTube channel? It's Tavana?
Yeah.
I
think it's actually...
Exactly.
It might be Tavana McMore.
Okay.
But I know that if you search Tavana channel, it comes right up.
Right.
But yeah, you know why? Is because they have a topic. You know how they have that topic page for artists sometimes that just sort of self-generates. So there's that, but that's not it. It's the one that I created. And yeah, that series I did. It's called Holo Holo with Tavana McMore, and I created it with a guy named Michael Donahoe from a video studio called Three Tree Creative. And you know, it's funny because this guy, he heard one of my songs on a Matt Miola, who's a professional surfer. He heard my song on one of his surf videos. Matt put that song "Tumble Down" that I actually recorded here with you.
Yeah.
So he heard it, and he just kind of like, you know, reached out to me on Instagram, was like, hey, you know, I'd love to do some videos with you. And so we did. And we did a string of videos with, like, we had one with like Donovan Frankenreiter, me opening up for him. He did one where I sat in with G Love in Maui at Charlie's. So he was just kind of fly on the walling. And we had this whole string of videos, and you can sort of see the progression on my page. And then we did one at Kelly Slater's house. And from that point on, we were like, hey, you know, we kind of have like a series here. It seems like you're meeting up with these people. We met up with Mike Love. We did an episode with him, and he's
John Cruz.
And John Cruz.
Jamming in the garage.
Yeah, you know.
Or in the parking lot. Right?
And it was kind of just like him following me around to stuff that I was doing on the daily, which turned out, you know, I always was like, man, this is crazy. You know, I was at like the BMI Music Festival, like hanging with Lucas Nelson and Willie Nelson. And I just kept thinking, like, man, this is so crazy. If there was somebody with a camera that was here, you know, this would be really great stuff. So he turned into that guy, and he pretty much, you know, he creates the whole show, and he just follows me around, and
it's like kind of vlog style-ish,
yeah,
you know, and you get some interview type stuff, you know.
Yeah.
For you guys out there, check it out. I'll put a link below. Go subscribe over there if you like good music and stories, and you know, I'm pretty sure like everybody that follows us here would be a good subscriber for your channel too. So
right on. Yeah, do it, guys.
yeah, totally. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and we're gearing up to do the next run. You know, we're looking at doing Palafuga, and I should say Palafunga, and we're looking at doing Lucas. Actually, we're hoping to get Lucas Nelson on, and we're gonna do Henry Capono, and you know, we just want to get everybody that has been so awesome to me in the past, and get them on the thing, and just, you know, it's so natural the way it goes on. It's a total hangout session. You've seen them, you know, they're really fun to do, and yeah, I'm kind of hoping that people like it, you know, and start following it.
So what's it been like for somebody? I mean, you were gigging like probably every night of the week almost, right?
Yeah, it was.
And then, you know, 3-4 months back, this whole thing went down and the world changed.
Whew, yeah. Whoa. Man, I think my last gig was at Charlie's in Paia in Maui. And people showed up, but it was very, what's going to happen? And then that Monday, I think it was, they went on and said, oh, you know, total lockdown. And then just overnight, all the gigs I had were just gone, like most of the other musicians. And it was just like, uh-oh. So for those few weeks, it was like, basically, I went on full on, you know, switch mode to, you know, the online marketing and online, you know, entertaining, right? Online entertaining, I can say, was something that I had never done enough of and figured out, really. But it was always something I always knew I should do. So basically, I just went 100% there, started working on Holo Holo, started working on...
You did live streams.
I did a bunch of live streams, and that's how this whole Music 6 Feet Away came about. So a lot of opportunities started coming in that vein. You know, it was like, wow, okay, you know, I'm putting day and night into this now, and all of a sudden you could see that's where, you know, people are starting to call me stuff. I started to do this, you know, Aloha together with Maleko and Flash on iHeartRadio, and and on the news channels were calling me to send in videos. And so all of a sudden I was getting like all this exposure.
Oh, interesting.
You know, that wasn't live exposure. It was, you know, it was this kind of exposure that I had really not intentionally neglected in my, you know.
But in a sense, that hits the wider base, you know?
Absolutely.
You know, it's like you can be busy gigging 7 nights a week, but only hitting, you know, 100 people each night, when the potential for reaching around the world.
Yeah. And you know what ended up happening? It was like, you know, so since all these opportunities started coming through, it was like I found myself really busy. And then, but I wasn't getting any money, you know, from any of this stuff. But it was something that was more of a long game thing.
Yeah.
And I knew that.
You have to build it.
And I knew that when I came out of this whole thing and I started gigging again, now that has like got pushed up so far ahead where it wouldn't have. And so it's like a full-on blessing in disguise.
Right.
You know?
Made you step up your internet game.
Absolutely. And really a lot of other things too. I mean, the Holo series has got me, you know, more comfortable interviewing people, talking with people, and finding out that I actually like doing that. You know, I like being on camera with a featured artist, and I like, you know, chatting with like what we're doing right now. You know, it's like I've turned out that I really like to do that, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have found that out otherwise.
Yeah, that's great, man, because I really worried about, you know, people like you when this whole thing went down. It was kind of worrisome. But the thing is, if you just keep pushing forward and you adapt and you look for like where you can be creative and reach new people, and you know, it's just survival in the meantime, you know, because a lot of this kind of stuff isn't gonna put the food on the table necessarily, but it's building, you know, it's building your audience bigger.
Totally. And I mean, you know, and then all of a sudden you realize how little you can live on.
Yeah, right.
And how much money you've actually been wasting, because now you're living with so little. You know, so so many silver linings, man. You know, I got, not to mention I got to spend like day and night with my sons, you know.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, I was really busy before that. I was flying every other weekend. You know, I spent a lot of time away, and so, man, we get to just hang out and just, you know.
It's kind of nice, right? Just being at home, not flying all over the place.
Absolutely. And it was cool to get a more intimate look at even schoolwork with them, you know, because I don't normally ever get to do that, you know, as much. I help a little bit with homework when they need help, but to sort of run the show for a few months, homework-wise, I felt like I brought us closer to, or me closer to understanding where they were, you know, scholastically.
Me too. I mean, Amelie's here helping us tonight with the filming. It's like she only just got into that, and I started bringing her to work with me here from this thing. So it's like, I don't know, on its face, it's just like the automatic kind of thought is, man, this sucks, you know? Yeah. But then it's like, if you dig a little deeper, you can definitely find those silver linings. And like, you know, there's a lot to learn from this period of time right now. Yeah, and I don't know. I just hope that like the restaurants and the bars and the clubs are able to come back at a capacity that's like gonna be able to support businesses like yours. I mean, you know, they will. It's just a matter of like time frames and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I think that if this is sort of a new normal and we end up having to get locked down periodically like that, I think that there may be a time where we figure out that entertainment is actually essential, you know, because I think that we're discovering that the people that were used to going out and seeing live music or live comedy, you know, a lot of those people use that as a real release. And so you get all this depression and all this stuff coming in with people who are spending so much time and they don't get to do their thing that they like to do, which is a lot of people. They like to go out and see live music. They want to see a show, you know.
I don't get out, you know, enough, but just not being able to has made me like feel it. Just like, it's yeah. I think there's a lot of people that are just itching to get back out and be amongst people and listen to good music and have, you know, fellowship with friends.
Absolutely. And and then on the flip side, I've discovered this whole new way to perform for people. Like we started this series or this concert series called Front Row Seats, where it's a ticketed show. Because we were doing these live streams like for all these months, and people were tipping, and it was awesome. Actually, literally put food on the table. But after a while, I was thinking, why not have ticket sales? If we're going to be at home a lot, maybe we can figure out a way to create an experience that is worth buying a ticket for. So we got a drone. We went to a nice location. We set up, me and Samite set up, and we had full concert rig and the drone flew by us and went and caught the sunset all while we were playing. It was this full experience that people can see from all over the world. And it was only for ticket holders. So we tested that out, and it went really well. So now we're gonna keep doing these Front Row Seats shows that are ticketed. But
that's what it's called, Front Row Seats.
It's called Front Row Seats, and we're gonna change locations every time, and every time you're gonna have this magnificent.
And okay, so like, how do people? I mean, I guess on your social media.
Yeah, we're always promoting the next thing there. Instagram,
are you just
Facebook.
Tavana or Tavana McMore?
Excuse me. On Instagram, it's Tavana Official.
Okay.
Yeah, and then on Facebook, it is Tavana 808.
So go follow him there and look out for those opportunities to get front row seat.
Yeah, and YouTube, that YouTube channel is also another hub.
Okay.
Where a lot of stuff is happening. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah,
That's so
all
cool.
these things. It was kind of like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And then I just kind of kept my eyes open and my ears peeled, and and I think it's the reverse. My eyes peeled and my ears open. And all of a sudden, these opportunities started coming out, and these ideas that I had, which I used to have ideas all the time, but it was hard to get people to get into the ideas. But while we were in lockdown, I discovered that every time I brought an idea to the person who could do it with me, they were available to do it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, and they were looking for something to do too. So it was like every time I made a call to do something, it was like, it worked. I was like, man, this never happens. Nobody ever calls me back. So awesome. It was cool. It kind of just, like I said, I'm viewing this as a real game changer for me. But like you said, it's only because if you adapt, and you don't just throw your cards in.
Yeah, just like, oh, well, I'm screwed. Okay, forget about it. But no, that's, I mean, especially when you're a dad, and you're like, okay, look, this is my profession, and I'm gonna figure this thing out.
Yeah, and I was lucky because I can't say that. I can see how some of the musicians, like if I was in an earlier phase in my career when this happened,
you might have
I
to
could
go
see
look for a construction job.
If I was still playing at Arnold's for $50 or Kelly O'Neill's or whatever for this and that, I might be like, oh well. But I had made it at least far enough to where this was my career, and it was already a business, and I was in the same boat as everybody else with small businesses then,
And you've developed these relationships with some of the best artists on the islands, and you're able to start collaborating like this. Yeah,
luckily, man. And like I said, that, that's being shown in the series. It's being shown in front row seats. It's being shown in 6 Feet Away. All these great artists are willing to collaborate. And I kind of feel like Hawaii is a little unique in that way right now, where, and I've been doing it ever since playing at Hawaiian Brian's. I was featuring artists there. And so I'm seeing a lot of that coming out of Hawaii where, the artists that are really doing well are working together, and they're doing things together. And you can see that, even from afar on YouTube, online.
Collaboration.
Yeah, and I think that's just going to obviously make so much more stuff. You have this
each other's
artist,
fans onto each other, and
exactly,
and then fresh music,
fresh fuses of music that don't otherwise exist. Totally, yeah, it's pretty exciting, And I what else I realized, it's just as like when Jimi Hendrix was the man who was pushing the envelope with a fuzz and an overdrive and delays, you know, with guitar effects, you know, we look back at that and go like, wow, he was a guy who took this new kind of technology and was creating this new thing, right? And that's happening right now, right? Because we have this whole live technology and this whole platforms and all this stuff, and this is fairly new. So the guys who are going to take this stuff and use it in a unique way and figure out, I mean, that's going to be the same situation. You're taking the technology and you are creating a new thing with it, you know? And I feel like that's kind of where everybody's head needs to be. And it's easy to forget that you are living in an exciting time, you know?
Lots of tools.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a matter of like learning them.
Right.
You know, that's the hard thing. And that's what it's like, if you can have any trait, it's just to like keep learning, you know, I mean,
you have it, you know, and I know that you do, and I do, where you can be working on a new piece of gear or a video or something, and you forget to eat, you forget to go use the bathroom.
Yeah. That's being in the zone.
Then you're in the zone, you know, and that's, you know, I said it many times, you know, thinking about the end product while you're creating something is really not the way. And it's kind of the trap that you get into in the beginning. You're like, I really want this thing to be awesome. I really want it to be great. And that's all you can think about it. And then you're filled with all the anxiety of it not being that way and all this fear. But really, the goal is to just literally enjoy the moments and all the moments in between while you're doing it. I mean, that's where it's at. That's where the magic is while you're doing it, you know, the process. Yeah, absolutely. You know.
Oh, it's so hard to let it all go, you know.
I know.
To turn off that little monkey in your brain that just keeps wanting to say like, "Oh, I hope this is good. Don't look stupid," or whatever, you know.
I discovered that like probably early to mid 30s, like, you know, about maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago. And you know, once I did, I just started realizing more and more and more to let that go. And all of a sudden it started to take me, you know, from, you know, a week to write a song to like a couple of days to like now I'll write a song in 30 minutes and I'll be more or less happy with it, you know, because and I think that's what ends up happening is you minimize that anxiety. And now all of a sudden the things that come naturally do sound more naturally. It's natural. They sound more true to form of what you originally were thinking. And there's a lot less overthinking going on. I mean, you know, and I think that's the same thing with, you know, what was it Picasso who said, like, one of the great painters said towards the end of his life, he was like taking like an hour or something to finish a piece, and people were like, what, you know, and he said, no, it took my whole life to be able to do that, you know. Right. And that's what it is. It's like if you can continually release the anxiety of what you're doing and what people are going to think about it, then you're going to be producing a lot better content.
And it's going to be true to who you are.
That's what it is.
Because you're not overthinking it.
You're not worried about just looking a certain way.
Right.
You know?
Like it came through you, and that's what it is, you know, and you're letting it be. Like,
you know, what do you call it? Unapologetic, man. Just be yourself. Like, what's coming out, let it go, you know? And I think that today's
you're at that
audience,
level, definitely, where you can... If you can just let it go. I mean, you know, I see it when you're playing and when you just let loose, and it's just a beautiful thing. I mean, like,
thanks, man.
Chicken skin.
I think that, like, people want that right now. You know, today's audience, they need to see your human side.
Passion.
They don't want to see perfection, you know, or the striving of perfection. They want to see, I mean, if you're sad, if you're mad, if you're feeling awkward, all that, you know, like if you're feeling like a nerd, whatever it is, just be that, and then people will connect to it, because that is humanity. Everybody, they're, you know, the way you feel, people also feel, you know.
Right.
And it's interesting. As I get older, I really start to realize that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's important, especially, you know, to share with our children to try to, it's like with social media and all that kind of stuff, it's really easy for young people especially, but anybody really, to get in their own head or to kind of, I don't know, it's easy to doubt everything you do if you let yourself,
Absolutely. I'm telling you, man, I was plagued by that whole thing in my early career. I would constantly be trying to sound like another artist, or like, oh, I want to sound like this guy. I love how this guy hits this note, and I would try to sing in that range, and it wasn't my range. And I did that for so long, and I would just tell myself, I'm such a bad singer. I can't do these things, until I listened to my own body.
Oh, that's fascinating. And
where I was like, oh, wait a minute, I don't need to sing it this way. So that's why, a lot of my covers you hear, they sound very different than the original. Whereas many, many years ago, I would try my best to sound like the original. And then I started letting the song be my own song. What would I do with it? And what key would I sing this in, so that my voice isn't straining and it feels really natural, and I don't have to worry about, oh, I just woke up, I can't do this gig. No, you can do it even when you just woke up, because you wrote it that way. You wrote it comfortably for yourself, Sure, you can challenge yourself. I'm not saying don't do that, but, I think it's even more important, was what I'm saying.
I was listening to this video the other day, and I forgot right now who it was, but the quote that I wrote down in my notes, because sometimes if I'm listening to a podcast or something and I hear something, I'm just like, oh, that's, but he was saying, you're thinking, where am I struggling? And then he says, there's most likely a program in your subconscious that does not support that destination. So it's like, if you're struggling to, like, why can't I do this and that? It's like, maybe that's not, where you were supposed to try to end up, maybe it's in something else. And I don't know, whenever you try to force things on yourself, it doesn't come out as great as just being true to yourself and,
and
putting your own voice out
it
there.
Relates to not being able to see, your own beauty, and I think that it goes really deep psychologically. Like, people tend to neglect themselves. They tend to not love themselves enough and see them for the beautiful person that they are. They will focus on, obviously, the flaws, instead of seeing, oh man, you got like a really cool rounded cheek side, or like I really like your hands. Like there's always something on somebody that's really beautiful,
Right.
and people tend to not realize it's there for so much of their life. And I think that's
we just look at our flaws, it's like zero in on like whatever we're
right.
But,
and I think when you're creating, it's important to showcase the beautiful things about your art and what you're strong at, and it's just like raising kids. You're going to do a lot better if you focus on their positive attributes, rather than constantly telling them what they're doing wrong.
Sure.
That's all they're going to think about, is what they're doing wrong. If you highlight what they're doing right, you probably do a lot better doing it that way. And it's similar when you can think about it when you're creating, or when you're your own self. You're always parenting yourself, really. You should be, you should be thinking of yourself like your own child, and putting that much care into yourself, and love, because then you can actually do that for
and then
other
you'll
people.
Have it to give.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, that's
we got all
dropping some wisdom over here. All right. Love it.
Awesome, man.
Dude, I love you, man. I've loved your music for over 20 years now, and you've always been just an awesome hang. Super
Absolutely.
Cool guy,
man. You know what?
I really want you guys to go over to Tavana's channel now and subscribe there, because you're gonna love all the stuff that he has coming out. And thanks again for taking the time to come up. Let's do it regularly.
Yeah,
Let's do
anytime.
this once in a while.
Dude, let me know.
Okay.
Like you said, it's a good hang.
Love your music, man. Mahalo.
I love you. Thank
All
you,
right.
man. Aloha.
Aloha.
Ready to go almost? Plastic island on the sea. How did it get there, man? How could it be? It's the plastic thrown away by you and me. Yeah. It's made of cups and bags and many things. It's mostly high density polyethylene. This island just might kill our seas, and if it does, we cannot breathe. Oh, there's a plastic island on the ocean, yeah. Plastic island on the sea. How did it get there, man? How could it be? It's the plastic thrown away by you and me, yeah. Single-use plastic ain't the key. Gotta stop using it, people, please. Or maybe we could all just move to Plastic Island. Sounds like a dumb idea to me. Yeah, there's Plastic Island on the ocean, alright. Plastic Island on the sea, yeah. Well, how did it get there, man? How could it be? It's the plastic thrown away by you and me, yeah, yeah. All right. And one day our children will say, ain't no more plastic in the sea, yeah. And oh, them fishes will swim so free in Plastic Island's ancient history. I hope in Plastic Island's ancient history. I hope in Plastic Island's ancient history. Yeah, there's a plastic island on the ocean, alright. Plastic island on the sea, yeah, man. How did it get there, man? How could it be? It's the plastic thrown away by you and me. It's the plastic thrown away by you and me. It's the plastic thrown away by you and me. Yeah.